That's cheaper than rewiring a thing.
All right, I sent you guys live.
Thanks.
Thank you.
We'll wait for Courtney to get in here before we.
So where is that property? Where am I on 170? Is it
Hmm?
on the east side of the county or west side of the county?
This is up
Glitter.
here, it's up here by. Yeah, it's,
Where's
What the
it?
plat is, the plat you're
Where's it
talking about?
Mhm.
Yeah, it's in
Oh.
Grant Township.
well, how do you tell that? You gotta go by this section.
Okay, but it doesn't say like.
Not on this one
Seven,
here, but
yeah.
now the other one does have it on there.
Sometimes they do.
I know, I like it better when they do, so yeah.
Yeah, well, I can never remember 8435, whatever it is. But actually, this is southeast of Litterville, ain't it? If I remember
Yeah.
right.
Mhm.
But it is kind of dumb that they didn't include that easy. There must be a reason. I don't know why it would, though.
We can go ahead and get started. Join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
All right. Does anybody see any deletions or corrections or additions to the agenda? Courtney, do you have any deletions or additions or anything to the agenda? Not.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda that's presented.
A second. Go ahead.
I will second.
All right, there's been a motion in a second. Any more discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Approval of the minutes for September 19th, 2022.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
I will second that.
A motion and a second. Any more discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, the first item on the agenda is to approve the plat that we received. In Grant Township.
Looks like they're just platting off the acreage. Almost 6 acres. There's an easement to the property. From what street is it? 170. Pretty straightforward. I'll make a motion to approve the plat.
I'll second it.
We've got a motion and a second. Any more discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Second item is to approve fiscal year 2022 annual financial report.
Okay, I've sent you guys all a copy of this. This is for fiscal year 22, actual revenues, actual expenses. On the first sheet, it shows what the actual was compared to what was budgeted, so that kind of gives you a good idea of where we ended up, which in my opinion, we ended up very well. ending fund balances at the end of June 22 was $10,992,717. You can see that's a significant difference than what we had budgeted. A lot of that, I believe, had to do with the recovery dollars. We had budgeted, we collected all and spend it all, just because we weren't sure what we were going to be doing in that year. Obviously, we did not spend it all, nor did we collect it all, so that affected it. Some of it would have been the jail project that wrapped up in 22. So that was part of that too. No, does anybody have any questions? Like if you look at the actual totals versus the budgeted, any of the differences that you see that kind of stand out that you have questions on?
Our biggest changes are in the expenses, I see.
Yeah. And you can see significant, we got roads, which is not uncommon. They had budgeted 7.1 to spend and they only spent 6.5. So, but that's pretty standard, just depending on what projects get done. I know there were some equipment delays and things that were ordered that were planning on being bought in 22 that were not. Another one, I don't know how significant it is, but public safety budgeted $1,050,000 to spend and only spent $938,000. I think that had to do with some of, the jail, and not knowing exactly what it was going to cost to operate the jail. I know that the sheriff's office didn't get a vehicle, and there was some food expenses in there as well that were not billed for. Overall, I think we ended very well. Capital projects, that's another one. We budgeted to 25 million, and only spent 22. Wait a minute, I'm off the line, sorry.
I was gonna say,
Yeah, sorry, I'm off the line. Got my glasses on and everything. Actually, we ended up pretty good in capital projects. Sorry, I was looking at the subtotal of the expenditures instead of the. But overall, and then if you go up to the revenues, we actually collected significantly more than what we had budgeted. Taxes were a little, about 200,000, but intergovernmental significantly higher. So obviously that helps your ending fund balance when you collect surplus and revenues. So other than that, I don't really have any more detail.
so that ARPA money, would that have been an intergovernmental?
Hmm?
That ARPA money, would that have been an intergovernmental?
Yes. Yes.
And see, at that time, we only got half of it, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm. So I believe overall we're sitting very well. And you guys get the reserve balances every month too, so.
I'll make a motion to approve fiscal year 2022 annual financial report.
I'll second it.
There's been a motion and a second. Any more discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item number 3 is to set public hearing for fiscal year 23 budget amendment.
Okay, so this will be the first amendment of the fiscal 23 year. Statistically or historically, we usually have 2 every year. But this will be the first one. A lot of this has to do with some things that didn't arrive in fiscal 22 that we had budgeted for. For example, my running equipment. So I'll just go through and list and stop me if you have any questions as I'm going along here, but I'm looking at the sheet that breaks it out by revenue and expenditures and by service area, because that's what the amendment that we'll be publishing, that's kind of a draft of that. So just one revenue item, and it's for the IEBA CDBG housing program. That's that down payment assistance program we're doing with Region 12. We did not budget to be doing that program in fiscal 23. So we need to have some revenue and some expense to collect the money and then send it out. Overall, you look down below under non-program current, it has 240,000 in expense. So that's a zero budgetary item. We'll only spend what we receive from them. And it might not be quite that much, but I kind of went off of the program the year before just to see what we had collected and spent. It was very close to that amount. Next item, it would go down to expenditures under service area 1. We got 2 items there. 6,000 for the ambulance building rent. That's for the rental agreement the county approved with the city of Templeton. So that was done after our budget. $20,000 for jail for food prep. The sheriff, for some reason, wasn't getting bills from the food prep company, and they caught on and got figured out that they didn't. I think there was 3 months there that we had to pay for, was actually 22 meals that were paid for in 23. Moving down to service area 6, $25,000. That is the fiscal 23 contribution to Merchants Park. The county had approved total funding of 50,000, doing half in 23, half in 24. And again, that was done after the 23 budget. Service area 8. So when I did my budget, I omitted my 2 employees' longevity on their salaries. And when I budget salaries, I budget to the penny. So I needed to account for that. So it amounts to $457 for both employees. That includes longevity, FICA, and IPERS. Right below that is the voting equipment that we're getting from Henry Adkins. That was a budgeted 22 expense that did not get spent. And that money is coming out of the lost fund, $112,041. Moving down to service area 9, there's several items here. So we are going with a different HIPAA firm. The extra cost above and beyond what we were spending with the other company is $4,200. That comes out of the supervisor's department, and that budget is very tight. There's really no wiggle room in your guys' budget. So I had to put that money in there because it's just, there's no extra anywhere else to pull from. There again, you have the auditor's salaries. That's the longevity that I didn't budget for. Below that was something that got brought up to me. We've been out of plat books now for close to a year. The company we used to use no longer in business. We're going to do our plat books in-house, but it's just taking a while to get that program set up. And Sarah only has so many hours a week that she does GIS, so it's taking a little longer. She did find some samples from, I think the one I looked at was from either Illinois or Indiana. They're kind of nice books. They're actually less expensive than the books we had before, and they actually have aerials, which is kind of neat. So what we're planning on doing is getting some. I think she was going to order 100, get 100 books. So we have some, because there's a couple people every week that come up and ask for plat books, and we haven't had them. So we're going to get like 100 ordered, and cost is right around $1,300. Now we do charge for, so whatever they end up costing us, we will charge per book. So we'll get the money back after we sell them, but I didn't have any money in my budget to buy plat books because we were going to do them in-house. So we're going to get some plat books ordered. Another one, I do budget for Zach's salary as well. Forgot his longevity, $244. So, and then the next item is IT salaries. That's the director's raise that was approved by the board after the budget. And then the item right below that is that cell phone booster project that was approved by the board for the IT department. That was done after budget time too. So no, I already talked about the $240,000 for the down payment assistance program. So you can see total expenditures $472,145. But if you offset that down payment assistance revenue, the total cost is $232,145. So that is the amount that will be getting pulled from reserves. So approximately $67,000 from the general basic fund, $457 from supplemental, and $164,589 coming from lost. majority of that there is the voting equipment. We're paying for the cell phone booster project and the Merchants Park contribution through the lost fund. Does anybody have any questions?
You explained that very well.
Okay, good. I'd like to say we won't have another amendment, but it seems like usually after the first of the year, if there's been any changes with personnel or something breaks and we don't have money in the budget.
What's the last day you can do it next year? May?
We can, yeah, May 31st.
Okay.
We can't do a budget amendment in the month of June, so. I'm proposing to do the budget amendment hearing, on the 10th. We have another hearing that day for the HVAC project that day at 10. So I thought we could do the budget amendment at 9:30 on October 10th.
I'll make a motion to set the first fiscal year 23 budget amendment hearing for October 10th, 9:30.
I'll second that motion.
It's been a motion and a second. Any more discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is manure management annual updates. We have Lauraville South LLC, section 31, Union Township, Calhoun County. Changed crop rotation or optimum yields, updated Russell
Russell.
2 and P indexes. And we have Denny Kennebec, section 13, Roselle Township, no changes. Dennis Reesburg, section 19, Roselle Township, updated soil samples and P indexes. And then go into committee reports.
I can go first.
Okay.
Last week. Just had the two town hall meetings on Maple River on the 20th and Mount Carmel on the 22nd. I thought they went fairly well. You made a face when I said that, Gene. I thought they went fairly well. You know, I guess, you know, some things I expected and some things I did not. So that was always the challenge. I think that there was some prep work done in Maple River ahead of time, you know, by some individuals. And so I think it went pretty well there. Not so much in Mount Carmel, but I think we set the groundwork for better communication in the future, and hopefully we can get some things done to make things life better for those people in Mount Carmel and Maple River. And you made a suggestion that maybe this is something we should do every year, and I would agree to that. I think that's not a bad idea. So that was it for last week. This week I've got was going to have the insurance meeting today. That's been canceled. I have another Coon Watershed Management Coalition executive meeting tomorrow, a Board of Health meeting on Wednesday, and that'll be my week.
Which watershed is it? The Michigan one?
No, the Raccoon
Is that the middle?
North. It's the North Raccoon River.
I can go next. Last week, I attended the same meeting in Maple River on Tuesday night with everybody here. And I thought it was, well organized. Thursday night, I was not able to attend Mount Carmel. We had a landfill or a Carroll County Solid Waste Commission executive meeting. It was a 3.5-hour meeting on succession planning. 4 key people are going to be retiring in the next couple of years. And this week I have RSVP and foster grandparents on Tuesday afternoon.
Okay, last week I had, on Tuesday, I had CADC board meeting at noon, and basically, one of the items we did is replace Joe Behrens on the board, and had a vote to replace him with Ken Behrens for, that's set on the board for the Townsend Area Development Corporation. Had the executive report, talked about some child care and marketing plan that they're going to have some meetings on that and doing some work on that. But probably the biggest portion of the meeting was the focus discussion in regard to Access Washington. We went out. Each one that participated in it went around and talked about what they talked about at the out in DC. And then we did have a city and county supervisors update. That was the end of that. Then I had also Tuesday was the Maple River Town Hall meeting, and Thursday the Mount Carmel Town Hall meeting. I thought those went well. A lot of discussion. I think, it's one of them situations probably. I tend to agree, we probably need to do it more often. I mean, I don't know about every year, but I think communication is a big issue there, that we need to keep that lines of communication open. This week, I have Tuesday night, I have the policy council for Head Start. And then on Thursday, I have a new opportunities board meeting.
Last week I had the roundtables. Same as you guys, I would agree, they both went well to an extent. But I also agree, I think it would be good for the board to get out in front of the different communities. At least once a year, it gives an opportunity, if they can't make it to our meetings, we go to them. It gives them an opportunity to voice their opinions. I also attended the retirement party for Wendy.
Thank you, so done.
I did that too also.
I'll wait. And then the final thing last week was Courtney and I both received a email from SCH, and thanks to Courtney for reaching out to get. There were some dollar amounts that she had to enter into the paperwork, and she reached out to, you reached out to Terry, didn't you? And he helped kind of set some of those. So
Yes.
thanks, Courtney, for helping with that.
For insurance.
Mhm. And this upcoming week, I have no official meetings. Can you put IT department on the agenda for next Monday?
Next Monday. End of October.
It's a bill day, right?
Not the third,
No.
bill day will be the 10th.
Okay.
So, do you just want IT department discussion or?
Yeah. We'll leave it open.
Staffing.
Otherwise, I don't have anything else for the third at this time.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any more discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
All right.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. You know, Courtney, we made it. Would you say 2 weeks in a row, we did 927? Well, and I can talk to Dalton too, if nothing else comes up for the agenda. That conversation probably can be another week.
And I will be off on Friday. I'm going down Iowa State's playing KU. And it's my daughter's senior year on the band, so we're gonna go down to watch her play. The game's on Saturday, we're gonna go down on Friday, so
Cool.
I'll be
Yeah.
giving the agenda done.
She's a senior
I
already?
know.
How'd that happen?